indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Making me screw up and be all late.
Welcome to the Florence City Council meeting in our newly renovated council chambers. I think they look fabulous. I hope you agree. I'd love to take credit, but I think it was Diane Whelan who's here with us today, and Eric Hall, who started this renovation long before I took office. So it's just taken a long time to come to fruition. So it looks fabulous, and we're happy to be here tonight to do the business of the city. First thing we'll do is roll call.
Mr. Carroll, Ms. Chambers,
Here.
Mr. Nguyen,
Here.
Ms. Kemper,
Here.
Ms. Wingo,
Here.
Mr. Osborne.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, approval of the minutes for the Tuesday, September 26th business meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? Mr. Nguyen? Second. Second, Ms. Wingo. Do we have any discussion, questions? Corrections? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll have discussion and possible action for municipal order MO 14/2023. The municipal order approving a real estate purchase agreement between the City of Florence, Kentucky and Nellie McCarty Estate for the property located at 7424 US 42 Florence, Kentucky. Do I have a motion? So moved. Ms. Wingo? Second by Mr. Nguyen. Discussion, Mr. Hunt?
Sure. So I have a map. I'll figure out how to work it. All right, kind of a crude map, but everybody on the council is well aware of this project. We talked about it at the budget workshop and then in a couple closed sessions. The city has entered into a contract to purchase 7424 and 7420 US 42. Properties are joined together. Together, they're around 3.5 acres. And I guess to orient you a little bit, so the Boone County Public Library is directly south across US 42 from these two parcels. And that's their logo on top of that building. The intention behind this acquisition is earmarked for future community purposes. So think possibly park, community gardens, but there's been no concrete plans at this time for what that future use will be. The next step with this will be to master plan what kind of community uses can be used on that property. Kind of plays with the other features of the property a few years back. Kind of hard to believe, but 7 years ago now, we purchased Florence Nursery property. So we have acreage there and looking at how we can have different community amenities in the area. So what's on the agenda tonight will allow the mayor to move forward with closing on both of those properties. It is 2 separate land purchases.
It's 2 separate municipal orders.
Correct. So any questions?
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Chambers?
Yes.
Mr. Nguyen?
Yes.
Ms. Kemper?
Yes.
Ms. Wingo?
Yes.
Mr. Osborne?
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next is municipal order MO 15/2023. It is the companion property to the first one that we just passed. It's municipal order 15/2023, a municipal order approving a real estate purchase agreement between the City of Florence, Kentucky and Frank L. Michael for the property located at 7420 US 42 Florence, Kentucky. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo? Second, Mr. Nguyen. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Chambers?
Yes.
Mr. Nguyen?
Yes.
Ms. Kemper?
Yes.
Ms. Wingo? Yes. Mr. Osborne?
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes 5-0.
Next item is municipal order 16/2023. This is a municipal order approving the First Amendment to the Emergency Supply Agreement, First Amendment by and between the Boone Florence Water Commission, Boone County Water District, BCWD, the City of Florence, Kentucky, the City and Northern Kentucky Water District, NKWD, and authorizing Julie Avishon as mayor to execute this First Amendment for and behalf on the City of Florence, Kentucky. Do I have a motion? Ms. Wingo? Second, Mr. Wynn. And Eric, would you like to discuss this?
Sure. So we've had an agreement in place for many years now. And what this provides us is, most of you know, we get our water from Greater Cincinnati. And in the event there was a time where, for whatever reason, that supply of water, we weren't able to get it, this agreement allows us to receive water from Northern Kentucky Water. So this is something we test and have for many years on an annual basis, where we will shut all supply off from Greater Cincinnati and just be operating off Northern Kentucky Water for a period of time, just to make sure that in the event we needed it, it would work. So just that's a real quick synopsis of what we're requesting, and we just want to make sure we keep this agreement current.
Eric, have we ever had to use that?
We haven't, other than testing.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Ms. Chambers,
Yes.
Mr. Wynn,
Yes.
Ms. Kemper,
Yes.
Ms. Wingo,
Yes.
Mr. Osborne. Mayor, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Next is Municipal Order MO 17, 2023. It's a municipal order declaring one Ford Interceptor Police Vehicle as surplus property, approving its transfer to the Perry County Sheriff's Department, and authorizing the execution of a transfer agreement with respect thereto. Is there a motion? Mr. Wynn? Second, Ms. Wingo. And Chief Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. If you recall, we donated a cruiser last year to Perry County. Sheriff Joe Engel called us again. It's been about a year and 3 or 4 months since those floods devastated eastern Kentucky. Perry County was one of the hardest hit. Their population is about 30,000 in that county. Hazard's the main seed in there. Buckhorn was the hardest hit outside in the county. Sheriff Engel informed us there's still lots of people in temporary housing. There's still classrooms that are temporary for the schools that were hit. They're still waiting on some of the roadways still to be fixed. And we're not talking about potholes. They've been washed away and they got to be reinforced with steel. So a large part of the county's budget is still trying to catch up. And they're talking it could be 3 or 5 years. So he's got a very limited budget down there. Currently, he has 9 deputies. They're down to about 6 cruisers. The one we donated last year is still going strong. And I think that speaks accolades for our public services and the maintenance guys over there that take care of our fleet. So that's why he's reaching out to us. They have another one that was donated and it's already gone down. So they don't have the funds to repair it. So they're in need of building back up their fleet. Like I said, they got 9 deputies. They're working right now with only about 6 cruisers. This is one of the cruisers that on yearly, when we get new cruisers in, that would be sent to auction anyway. So he requested that if we could donate another cruiser to him. And I think, that would be great for us to do and reach out to them and help them out a little bit, because it's going to be a while till they get back on their feet.
Any other discussion? I just want to add that Councilmember Chambers and Councilmember Wingo and I went to the Kentucky League of Cities convention, and one of the sessions was on disasters, and they are still dealing with a lot of issues from the floods in the east and the tornado in the west. In fact, one of the communities had been hit with a disaster in 2009. And they said they just got their FEMA check in 2023 for that. So it just really takes a long time for these communities to build back up. So I think anything we can do to help them, I'm sure that they really appreciate it. So any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Chambers,
Yes.
Mr. Wynn,
Yes.
Ms. Kemper,
Yes.
Ms. Wingo,
Yes.
Mr. Osborne. Mayor, motion passes 5-0.
Next item is just discussion tonight for road name changes. There was a memo about 2 roads that we'd like to rename that I'm proposing. One is renaming a section of Cardinal Drive and Commerce Place to Tom Gill Way. Mr. Gill has been a business owner in this community for a very long time. And the properties, which I believe there's only there's four, have all agreed to the renaming of that road. It allows a little more clarity for people to get into his location with the new road improvements on Kentucky 18, blocking the access that he formerly had. That there was a letter sent from his attorney to council requesting this change. So I'm just putting this on the agenda for discussion. Is there any discussion regarding that request?
Are those properties that would be affected, are they residents or are they?
Resident?
Two of them are residential properties, and both of those have signed off on it. This is per Tom Bill's attorney, who had spoken to them. One is a commercial property in which Mr. Bill owns, and then the other one is Michel owns it. He's on board with it. It's a hotel.
Any other discussion? All right, and then the next road to rename Holiday Drive. Holiday Drive was named that way because there was a Holiday Inn in our city over near the interstate next to where Arby's, and back in the day, Ponderosa used to be back there. Those Ponderosa and Arby's are long, or not Ponderosa and Holiday Inn are long since gone, and so this is a section of town nearby the our longtime city clerk, Betsy Conrad, near her house. And so we thought if we had a chance to rename a road in her honor, we would love to do that. She was 22 years as our Florence City Clerk, Human Resources Director. She was also a 2-term member of the Florence City Council. She was instrumental in creating Northern Kentucky Municipal Clerks Association, and she was Clerk of the Year twice. It is our privilege to have her husband, Steve, with us tonight, and I think he might want to address this. Podium.
Well, I think what Sid said, all the things accolades that she received over the years, all of the things that she did. She had a love for this city, and she showed it. Whatever she did, she was constantly trying to make things better. I can remember when we had the Florence Hall Festival. She had just got finished making a record with 3,000 little girls before she became the Florence City Clerk. She's a lifetime member of the Girl Scout organization in Northern Kentucky. We went to cities all over Northern Kentucky teaching the girls how to sing this particular songs. And then one day in January, they all came to the big hotel down in Crescent Springs, and 3,000 girls was behind a big boxing ring, and they had the recording instruments, and they were eager to make this record. They created 1,000 records and sold every one of them. Betsy was always a great singer. She had a fantastic voice. One thing that was interesting, she used to sing in the choirs, and a lot of people have trouble staying as a soprano or an alto. She could go, her voice was very low, but she could hit the extreme highs at the same time. She had an extremely wide range voice. She loved singing. She convinced the mayor to create the Florence Kids Chorus, and they would perform at the Florence Hall festivals. That was one of the hats she wore. She was so involved with everything going on with this city. That was just a little aspect of it. And she loved the city, and that's why she continued. When she retired, she said, well, I would like to run for council, and she did run for council. And after that, she was on the Urban Forest Commission, as you said, and not only that, but she was in the Florence Women's Club, and they were about to let it die, and she said, I'm not going to let it die. She became president. She started sending newsletters out. I've talked with one of the people from the Florence Women's Club. They said that she saved the Florence Women's Club, and it is doing very well today. And she was also president until she died of the Boone County Historical Society, which even the Northern Kentucky Heritage Magazine that's published twice a year by Kenton County. They put out one of their publications and put in there the note that one of our great historians has passed away. They even recognized Betsy for that. So no matter what she got involved with, she did it to the absolute extreme. I remember when she was on council, she'd get those council packets and she would be busy for 2 or 3 days going through those, studying and everything to be ready for council when she came, because she wanted to do the very best she could for the city while she was working here. So all I can say is I applaud and I thank you for this wonderful recommendation. And our family thanks you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Conrad. I had the privilege of sitting in a seat where Ms. Kemper is sitting for many years, and Betsy was the clerk, so she sat on this side of me, and then when she became a council member, she sat on the other side of me. So I had the privilege to sit next to Betsy for many years, and she's just a dear person, and she did touch a lot of lives in a lot of different ways. And so I think her service to the city has always been of the highest professionalism and highest standards. So we're happy to name a section of the road for her, rename that holiday drive to Betsy Conrad Way. So if there any discussion. Mr. Osborne.
Right. Here we go. We got these machines up here and sometimes they're difficult. But anyway, while Steve was talking here, we have had the privilege over the years that we have named a street, Ewing Boulevard, after Hoff. We've also been doing one for Betsy Conrad. We've also done one for Bob Webster, which Betsy was involved with all these people over the years. And the other one was Charlie Allen, was the police chief. I've had the privilege of being, when we were little, that we would play with Stevie and his brother. And later on in school, Betsy was just one of the guys. She worked with everything, Mr. Viox, Diane, everybody up here, with the exception of the two ladies here, that she had something to do with interaction with those people. She was very, very plain. She was outspoken, and she was a good council lady when she served. But most of all, when she worked for Diane and worked for the other people, she was an expert at that field. I mean, you know, she had people trained to go down state, get information, etc. So it's an honor for me personally to know that I know these people, and probably Eric and Mr. Viox and Mr. Wynn, Julie. I don't mean to leave anybody out, but you all know who these people are. And it's well deserving that we do something for her and her family. Thank you for coming, Steve. Thank you for everything.
I just want to make one comment, a little bit more light here about Betsy. We talked about, Steve mentioned it, that she wore many hats, and she did. She was involved in an awful lot of organizations, and that was terrific. But Betsy literally wore many different hats. And we were never sure which one was coming out. But she wore a lot of hats. And I think it was something she loved to do. And it was always fun to see somebody that loved wearing hats and actually wore them, because we're in a generation now where really ladies don't wear hats very often.
All right, any other discussion? Thank you, Mr. Conrad, for coming. Next, we have the mayor's report. Florence residents are able to pay their annual city property taxes at the Florence Government Center. The Boone County Sheriff's Office has personnel stationed here through the end of this month, and then they'll be back at the end of the year as well in our finance department. Fall cleanup is underway until Sunday, October 15th. Drop-off is at the Public Services Maintenance Facility located at 7850 Tanners Lane. Cleanup is available for residents only, and you must show proof of residency. If you have any questions, contact the City of Florence Public Services Department at 859-647-5416 for more information. Eric, you got anything to add to that? The YMCA is hosting a senior fall festival on Friday, October 20th from 10 to 2 at Thomas More Stadium, home of the Florence Y'alls. All seniors are invited to attend this free, fun fall event. Over 40 community partners offering valuable senior resources, health screening, flu shots, and many giveaways. We hope the weather's good for that event. Speaking of good weather, we need good weather for our annual Halloween night out, which will be held on Tuesday, October 24th at Thomas More Stadium. And it's from 6 to 8 that evening. The event will have vendors and treats for kids. The theme is Nightmare at the Ballpark. It will be a spectacular, family-friendly, and free event held rain or shine. The Florence Police Department is participating in the National Prescription Drug Take Back Day on Saturday, October 28th from 10 to 2. There will be 2 drop-off locations. It will be the North Parking Lot, Florence Government Center, and the Florence Kroger Marketplace. That's on 7685 Mall Road. Call the Florence Police Department at 859-647-5420 for additional information. Trick or treat hours in all of Boone County will be held on Halloween, Tuesday, October 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. If you would like to have the trick or treaters come to your house, please leave your porch lights on. The Household Hazardous Waste Collection event at Thomas More Stadium is scheduled for Saturday, November 4th. That's from 9 to 2, and free disposal of the following items: aerosol cans, antifreeze, batteries, corrosives, flammables like fuel, gasoline, etc., electronics such as computers, monitors, printers, cell phones, ink and toner cartridges, light bulbs, oil, paint. There's a 10-can limit on paint. Pesticides, 2 gallons max, or 2 pounds of powder max. Cylinders and tanks, TVs, there's a limit of 2 per vehicle, and they will not accept appliances, fertilizer, mercury-containing devices, medications, or tires at this event. Paper is no longer accepted. A registration form will be filled out, and you may obtain the form on our website and the county website. You must be a Boone, Kenton, or Campbell County resident to participate, and no businesses. Please contact Boone County Coordinator Jake Berger at 859-334-3151 if you have questions. In partnership with, boy, it's a long mayor's report tonight. Partnership with the Florence Christian Church, as part of our Veterans Day program this year, the city will be hosting the Witness Tree event. This event will be held beginning November 1st and run through November 11th. It's daily at 8 a.m. on the campus of the Florence Government Center at the Boone County Veterans Memorial, right across the campus here. It's an 11-day program. It's intended to raise awareness of the estimated 22 veterans who commit suicide every day. The daily ceremonies will include placing 22 dog tags on a tree, readings, meditative thought, and reflection. Additional resources will be available for participants. We invite everyone to come. It's a short ceremony. I think it's like a 15-minute to 20-minute ceremony. So if you're on your way to work and you want to stop in 8 o'clock at the Veterans Memorial. The city will hold our annual Veterans Day program. It'll be Saturday, November 11th at 2 p.m. at the Florence Government Center community rooms downstairs. And the Honor Run Half Marathon will be held the morning of Sunday, November 12th, beginning at the Florence Y'all Water Tower. Funds raised are donated to the Honor Flight Tri-State and there will be road closures during the roast. Those closures will be posted on the city website and social media, so please take note. And that does it for the mayor's report. Anyone on council desire recognition? Any department heads? Anyone from the audience? And we have need for a closed session? No. All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All right, Ms. Kemper. Ms. Wingo first, Ms. Kemper second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
And that's what,
happened.
and I
And that's why it made a noise on the phone. I didn't realize.